It was a quiet evening in the small town of Harrow Hill. The sun had just dipped behind the trees, and a cool breeze whispered through the streets. Inside his modest home, Samuel Carter sat in front of a mirror, his reflection staring back at him with a chilling intensity. He wasn't sure how it had happened, how the mirror had come to life, but the moment he'd bought it, something had felt off. The glass was old, the frame ornate, and the shopkeeper had insisted that it had a history. But Samuel, a man of logic and reason, had laughed it off. He didn't believe in superstition or anything remotely supernatural. Yet, here he was, staring into the dark reflection of his own eyes as a strange sensation crept over him. The room behind him seemed to grow dimmer, and a cold draft swirled in the air. His reflection was moving. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, but no. It wasn't just the reflection that shifted. It was something more. The man in the mirror was smiling at him. Samuel's heart began to race. He leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. The man in the mirror smiled wider, the corners of his mouth stretching unnaturally. Samuel flinched. He quickly turned around to find nothing but an empty, dimly lit room. When he turned back to the mirror, the figure was still there. But now, it wasn't just a smile it was mocking. The man in the mirror raised his hand and pointed directly at Samuel. "What the hell is happening?" His fingers trembled as he reached forward and touched the cold glass. The moment his fingers made contact, the room seemed to distort. The walls stretched, the ceiling cracked, and he felt himself being pulled in, his body growing light as if the air itself had turned to liquid. Desperation gripped him. He pulled back, but it was too late. The world around him faded, leaving only the black, lifeless reflection. Samuel woke with a start, gasping for breath. He was in his bed, the soft morning light creeping through the window. His heart hammered in his chest, the remnants of the nightmare clinging to him like a fog. But something felt wrong. He slowly sat up, his mind still reeling from the vivid dream. As he looked toward the mirror in the corner of the room, his blood ran cold. The man in the mirror was standing in his bedroom, his expression blank, his eyes hollow. It wasn't a reflection anymore. It was him. Samuel tried to scream, but his voice was caught in his throat. The figure in the mirror took a slow, deliberate step forward, its eyes never leaving his. Then, just as the mirror began to crack with an eerie, high-pitched sound, Samuel realized the truth. He wasn't alive anymore! It read, "I finally see it. The truth. I was never real. And now, neither am I." When they later examined the mirror, they discovered something truly unsettling. The reflection was empty.